Hello and how are you, toy sports lovers out there? My name is Robbie Gillette and welcome to conversation number 29 of the Keeping It Real with Robbie podcast, where we chat all things on the mental side of sport, to stories, laughs and banter. Whether it's the old pigskin or the old leather ball, we've got you. First of all, I need to apologise for the delay in posting this chat. There's some topics that we covered that were relevant at the time, such as the box games, but unfortunately, I've been man down with COVID and haven't had much spare energy. That aside, I really enjoyed my chat with Hurricanes flyhallf Ruben Love, as he journeyed through his young career and shared insights into the kind of pressures that he faces. I hope you guys enjoy, and as always, let me know what you guys think.
Fantastic. Just when I thought my weekend literally couldn't get any better, the Springboks played and the Springboks won, obviously. And I'm joined by probably New Zealand's hottest property at the moment in rugby, Ruben Love. Ruben, thanks for coming on and joining me. I really appreciate it. I know the time difference and whatever's made it admin, and I appreciate your time and effort for actually hopping on. So thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, sweet. Thanks for having me, Robbie.
Man, awesome. But I think we can get straight into it with the Springboks. I know we're always going to speak about the Springboks. I mean, what do you think? What did you watch the game this morning? I know it was like 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at 4 a.m, so I wasn't up. I was actually asleep, but saw the highlights and it looked like a surreal game. And even the first game, they looked so close and looked so physical. But the tries are definitely something else. They're so spectacular, and just wish there was, full crowds to be able to witness it all.
That would be insane. I don't think you guys have had crowds, you did, for quite a long time now, yeah. And where do you think, who's impressed you from the Springboks and the Lions? Have you, from the highlights you've seen, who do you think has impressed you? And then also, how do you think the Springboks will win it next Saturday?
I haven't watched enough to see who's impressed, but a recurring theme in the highlights is definitely playing through Andre Pollard and the winger Mapupi as well. He's class, man. And the Lions, I would have loved to see. Is it Louis, the winger, the rapid winger, Louis Zammit? Yeah. I would have loved to see him get another crack. He's a young buck coming through and he's sharp, but just both teams are stacked with, grade A players. And, I'm excited to watch the game next week. I'll probably be up because it's Saturday, I think Saturday morning, and we have a game that night. So I might be awake or something like that, watching other clubs. So, but yeah, watch.
Who are you playing next week and who are you playing for?
Currently, I'm just playing the provincial stuff, which is it's called the Bunnings NPC at the moment. It's usually called ITM Cup or Mitre 10, but I'm just playing for the capital city, Wellington Lions, and we have Northland as our round 1 fixture on Saturday.
Love that. Yeah, I mean, you obviously you signed the Canes, but I mean, what's it been like? Or maybe before we get into that, let's strip it a bit back for you. How was your camp with the NZ under-20s? Was it tough? And did you guys get any games?
Yeah, it was awesome. Coming out of Super Rugby, there was a lot of pressure for, I think, a good 6-7 months, and it's so full on. You have to be on point 100% of the time. And having about a week's break after Super Rugby to decompress with my family, getting straight into the New Zealand 20s camp, and a lot of those boys that were in that camp I played New Zealand schools with in 2019. So we were meant to play Australia, but because of COVID we couldn't travel over there, so they got canned and we weren't sure what was going to happen next. But luckily we scrambled together 4 games against some quality opposition, and we came away with 4 wins. And it wasn't the wins that I'll cherish. It was the friendships I made with the new guys, and just the traveling experience, just chilling in the hotel room with a bunch of mates, and it was awesome, man. I had so much fun, and it was one of the best rugby experiences I've had to date, so loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine it must have been insane. But also, I want to kind of find out, I think in South Africa, if you play I think it's SA schools and you go over, you pretty much keep a core group of guys who play baby box. Is it the same with you guys, or is there actually room for newer guys to come in?
I think it can differ. New Zealand schools gets picked on purely 1 year of you playing schools or for your high school, or maybe 2 years. But New Zealand 20s, it's a totally different coaching group. It's a totally different selection process. And again, the main core of the New Zealand secondary schools guys went through and played 20s, but there was definitely some new faces. And obviously you can be 18, 19 or 20 years old to play in the under 20s. So there's different ages there. So there's I think there's a bit of diversification in the people.
And I mean, like, for you, what's it like? Because you grew up in Wellington, eh? That's where the Canes are from. It's like your childhood side, am I correct?
Yeah. Grew up an hour out of Wellington, but did my high schooling about 2 hours away.
Oh, nice. And then so what's it been like playing for the Canes and just like representing your, I don't know, in Cape Town will be like your province or whatever?
Yeah, it's surreal, man. You know, I used to go to their games whenever I could, and I still remember my first game. It was a birthday present from my parents. Just going there and just watching them with my younger brother. It was my 10th birthday, but yeah, it's crazy, man. Just to sit in the changing rooms with these guys and have my own locker, and you know, being able to run out there with the flames going up and the crowd going nuts. It's definitely special, man. That doesn't make you question why you do all those early mornings or late nights and put yourself through so much pain just to be rewarded with that, I guess, 80 minutes or hour that you get.
Can you remember like the first time you ran out? Because I mean, as a young guy, I'm sure it's like I would be so fired up, you know, like you're running out, the crowd's going nuts. But I'm sure like as you get older, it becomes a bit more normal. But for you as like a young guy straight out of school, when you experience that, what was that like?
Yeah, I don't think it will ever get old. I've always envisioned running out to crowds and flames and noise and stuff like that since I was a kid. And I vividly remember the process that it took, you know, walking out of the changing sheds with the cameras on, getting told to wait until you're allowed to run out because of the TV. And yeah, it was crazy, man. It's something that'll never get old for me. And it's a nice feeling having a family in the stands and running out onto the field just to make them proud.
Yeah, that sounds like a dream. What kind of culture has been created at the Canes? It seems like, I mean, externally, to be honest, I was just watching on TV when they play rugby, you know, so I don't get any of the extras. But I mean, from what I've seen, it looks pretty tight knit. Is that pretty fair?
Yeah, everyone's close, and there's a big emphasis on becoming mates off the field as well as on it.
And then, like, with regards to just becoming mates with guys and like just experiencing and learning with guys, who are some of the guys you like find yourself hanging around at training, which is like kind of like a pinch yourself moment, you know? And then how do you think that's taken your game to the next level and will continue to take your game to the next level?
Yeah, I think obviously Jordie Barrett's a great influence, and he's actually next to me in the locker room. So I always find myself playing 21 questions with him. More so me asking him about 1,000 questions on what he thinks to do in this situation, or you know, how he gets ready for games and stuff like that. So I'm always asking him, and you know, Julian Severe and Artie Savia. The Canes changing room, there's a lot of legends of the game, and when all these guys retire, man, you know, their jerseys are going to go up in the honours room and stuff like that. So just to play with them now and even just talk to them, you know, it's pretty crazy just to try and make my game better.
Yeah. And how have you experienced, or how did you experience the new Super Rugby comp for you guys? And then, I mean, like, what are your thoughts on us or you guys not coming down to Cape Town or playing any of the South African sides? Like, is that something that's, you know, I mean, for you haven't experienced it, so maybe it's a bit easier. But like the general mood, is it, let's crack on to something else, or is it, you know, a bit gutting?
Yeah, I'm gutted. You know, I grew up playing all the rugby challenges and rugby 06 and 08 and stuff like that, and watching all the games like on a Sunday morning when the Hurricanes are over in Pretoria or, you know, Cape Town or stuff like that. And obviously you don't dwell on it too much because there's bigger things going on in the world right now, but it would have been awesome to come to South Africa. I've never been there. My mum used to live there for a while, and yeah, I wish it could have happened, but a lot of the guys are gutted. You know, I've heard them say a few times just how awesome South Africa was and how tough it was to play there, and just how different it is to playing in New Zealand. So, but the Trans-Tasman comp it was cool that they went ahead and got to play a different style of rugby and play against a different style. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's quite interesting what you said about a Sunday morning, because for us it's a Friday morning. So it's like when we're watching you guys play, it's on a Friday morning. So it's like it would be so weird I think for me to watch football or rugby on a Sunday morning, because it's just so entrenched that it's Friday morning. Like it's like crack your weekend off. But sure, like you're obviously still a young guy, with lots of rugby memories to make. But what have been some of your first, what were your first rugby memories that you can remember today?
Yeah, my first game was when I was 4 years old, playing for Waikanae Rugby Club, and I just remember going there not knowing what to expect, and it's crazy that I even remember it because I can't remember any other game that I played from that age, but played the game and managed to clash heads with someone, and I just remember my gum was bleeding. I think I chipped the tooth potentially and just went off the field crying, holding mum's hand, and had to go home. So my first ever rugby experience ended in tears, and a lot of my recent rugby games, have ended in tears as well. So it's kind of fitting that, a lot of it started with my parents, and it's kind of at the moment still going with my parents, and hopefully for as long as I play, it always ends up with my parents somewhere.
Yeah, and why do you say that your recent ones are also ending in tears, or is that not saying you willing to?
It's overwhelming, I guess. It's you put a lot of emphasis on and time into trying to make that complete performance, and you put so much into this game, and I always find myself at the end of 80 minutes just completely overwhelmed and exhausted from the amount of work that you put in during the week, and it's all the stuff that the public eye doesn't see and stuff like that, and you only just see it now with other athletes coming out on how mentally tough it is, and I've come off the field just to my parents just in tears because I'm just so exhausted, and but it's a good feeling, man, just knowing that you put so much into something, and when you get that reward, it makes it so much better.
And is that something you work on? You do work on? Like, do you guys have sports psychologists that you guys can see and all that? Because that's quite hectic. Like, when you come off a field and you're just like so overwhelmed, it must be pretty like emotionally draining.
Yeah. There's people to talk around, and it's awesome that now it's being a lot more naturalized in the sporting industry and stuff like that. So just being able to be open about it and speak what's on your mind, and I guess just being honest with yourself and with your teammates and the psychologists as well.
That's quite interesting, because I also, like, one of the main reasons I started this is because I watched what's it, RD's podcast as well, and I was like, there's so much of the stuff we don't know, like as guys who will go 6 days or 5 days in the week, and then on the 6th day watch the rugby, and then carry on. And there's a lot of stuff we don't see, which I thought was quite interesting. But have you always been like a standout player? Like you mentioned, first game ended in tears, or were you just always a great player? Like always stood out above the rest of your age group?
No, it was never like that. I went through high school and I played for the under 14 B team. I didn't make the A's, and didn't make the under 15 A's either. Had to play under 15 B's, and I ended up wanting to quit rugby at one point just because I wasn't enjoying it as much, and I liked playing cricket a lot more, so wanted to give it a crack. But my dad kept me in it, and I was pretty fortunate that some events just happened in my life and kind of made me want to take it a bit more seriously. So kind of started training hard for it, and it wasn't until my second to last year of college where I kind of decided to give it a good crack.
That's crazy. Can you maybe journey us through that period from like when you mentioned those like times or events that you had to go through for you to take it seriously, from there till where you are now? I guess it's like a journey outside of school as well, because it's quite interesting for guys to know, I think.
Yeah, Yeah, well, I guess what would it have been 2016. I was playing just for the under 16B rugby team, and I was the smallest kid on the field always. I was playing halfback in a mix of first five sometimes, and just wasn't really enjoying it. And my koro passed away. My granddad passed away, and I just remember being around a lot of my family at the time, and I guess when he was still with us, I made a promise to him that I'd do something and with my life. And at the time, I wasn't really. I was smoking a lot. I was drinking, and I guess my energy was more focused on the party scene, as a lot of young kids do. And I guess that summer of when I was going from year 11 to year 12, I ate right. I trained the house down. And for a lot of the times, I didn't go to school balls. I missed out on those, and I missed out on high school parties. I missed out on, the year 13 or I'm not sure what you call it, but your final year dinners and all that stuff. I missed out on to train and put my energies and focus into this game. And it's not only till now where you kind of reap what you sow. And I'm just lucky it's paid off. And I guess when you put your mind to anything, that can be achieved, no matter who you are and stuff like that.
Yeah. Why did you decide to put all that energy into rugby as opposed to cricket? Because I know you mentioned earlier that you like cricket, and from what I've gathered, you're actually a half decent cricketer. So why did that energy go into cricket? Oh, not into cricket as opposed to rugby.
Well, in New Zealand, I'm not sure how it is in South Africa, but in New Zealand, it's a much harder pathway. There's for rugby, there's the academy programs and stuff like that, but for cricket, there's not much. I guess buy-in if you're a young buck trying to crack it straight away and stuff like that. So I just had the opportunity in my last year to come down to Wellington and be a part of the Lions, but more so the academy. And just jumped at the thought of it, and had a lot of talks with my mum and dad on what I should do, and just decided to jump off the cliff and hopefully grow wings while I'm at it.
And do you think there was a genuine opportunity for you to have to go on pro in cricket? Like, even if you did, if you took that risk and went for cricket, do you think there was a genuine opportunity or a chance? You can back yourself now, because
No, I wasn't that good. I was a battler. I wasn't that good at cricket. I guess I was just athletic through rugby, so I wasn't that good. So I don't think I would have made it in cricket.
Okay, and who would you say is like your favorite player in the world at the moment playing for cricket?
I said a few times on a few podcasts and stuff I've done, but my favorite is definitely Quinton de Kock. Honestly, I've been watching him since I was probably 13 years old, and ever since then, just the way he plays and the way he wicket keeps as well. He's by far my favorite player.
Respect. You didn't have to say that just because I'm South African, but I agree, bro.
No, that's funny because I've done like Australian podcasts and another dude from South Africa, and I've said the same thing every time. Quinton de Kock. So
Quinny, eh?
Sure.
That looks a legend, bro.
Yeah.
But like what? I guess you've kind of journeyed through what it's like being a young pro in New Zealand, but how have you like kind of experienced it? Being such a young guy in that high pressure environment, and maybe what are some of the learnings you've taken from that? And also, like, how big is the rugby culture in New Zealand?
The culture is pretty strong. There have been some times where I'm just walking down the street or I'm just out for dinner and people come past, and most of the time they say nice things and stuff, but there has been the odd time where you cop a bit of stick, and I guess that just comes with the job. But one of the biggest things I've kind of learned is when you get to this level, you tend to put a lot of expectations on yourself, and there's a lot of expectations that you think come from your friends and your family, and maybe your partner or everybody you've ever known kind of sees you as a rugby player. But one thing I've kind of taken out of it is I don't weigh up my expectations now. I look at it as appreciation, and I appreciate where I am and the opportunities that I've got, and the people in my life, and I don't look at it as I'm expected to play well or I'm expected to be the best player I can be, because I know that will naturally always be there as a motivator. But if I can appreciate where I am and the opportunities that I have and the effect that I can have on other people, and that kind of makes me feel whole and like I'm not just a rugby player in a sense.
Yeah. And with those like comments that get made like in person, first of all, that's brave. I've actually never heard of anyone getting like commented, like having like a negative thing said about them in person, especially for like an athlete. How do you handle that? Like, surely it's just like I would just be speechless.
Yeah, I guess everybody's entitled to an opinion, and unfortunately there's a lot of tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand, and no one really likes to see the people that are, I guess, trying their hardest to do well, and a lot of people just want to bring them down. And it happens with all the sports. In Israel Adesanya, the fighter, talks about it quite a lot in his interviews. But if someone's got something negative to say, just brush it past. And I feel sorry that they have that hatred or negative energy that they have. And if someone's got something positive to say, I guess I applaud them for being courageous enough to say it, because as you said, you have to be brave to go out of your way and say something to someone, whether it's good or bad. So if it's good, I take the time out to appreciate it.
It's so like, I think it's sad that like people have that in them. It's like if you have that in you, then the problem's a little bit bigger than the player that like knocked the ball on or whatever. And then you got bigger problems, I think.
100%.
So for you and your journey after school, when did the Hurricanes, or when did you get noticed by the Canes, and when I suppose did you get offered a contract to come there?
Yeah, it was probably June, my first year out of school, June last year, and they were just having their training just before the Super Rugby Aotearoa started, and I just got asked to come in and train with them for a week, just to be, a body to hold the tackle pads and, just run as an opposition player against them, just to prime them before their comp starts. And kind of just went to that, and for them, I'm just a nobody coming in to hold the bag and stuff like that. But for a 19 or 18-year-old kid that comes in, and it meant the world to me just to train with these guys and be at the location where, that my dreams kind of can take place. And so I took it very seriously and tried to, I guess, train my hardest, and ended up doing that for 2 weeks. And it wasn't until just before the Lions season started where I was lucky enough to, I guess, just get approached and sit down and have a meeting with the coaches, and they just put a contract forward, and it was pretty speechless, really, just me, my mum and my dad. And I guess left the meeting just going, wow, did that really happen? And I remember going straight from there, going to the gym, just going, shit, I got to get good. I've got a Mitre 10 Cup provincial season and a pre-season block to get good, because I'm nowhere near good enough at the moment. So
Bro, that's insane. So did you not like expect it at all? You went there to hold tackle bags, and then at the end of it, you were offered a contract.
Yeah. Basically, after a process over a few months, it was just like, yeah.
Damn, that's a
surreal.
very, very cool story. That's such a cool story. And how long are you signed for? Was that not like something you discussed? I don't know.
Yeah, signed for 3 seasons. So this season, 2022 and 2023, and God willing, it goes well, and hopefully goes some more. But whatever happens. Not trying to chase the universe. So whatever's happened, I know God's got a plan for me. So
Yeah, let's go. I love that. So you've obviously journeyed a bit through, like how it's just been overwhelming. It can get a bit. It's like a high pressure situation all the time, which is not good on anyone. How important has and you've mentioned your family or your parents, how important has your support structure been for you to get through those times? And also, what does that look like for you? What does your support structure look like?
yeah, it's massively important. You ask any rugby player that's in those situations how important family and friends are, and they'll tell you. But yeah, for me, it just looks like my mum and dad, and I guess I got some family that live in Wellington as well, which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, just basically spending as much time as I can with them when I'm away from rugby, and just finding things to do outside of rugby, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean we chatted a little bit earlier about that tight-knit Canes culture. What's the dynamic between some of the younger guys such as yourself and then like an older guy like maybe Artie or Julian? Like what does that relationship look like?
It's great, man. Those guys came in around the same age as I have, and they understand what it's like and what it takes when you're young, coming through these high pressurized situations. And yeah, I guess there's no diversity in the team. Everyone's on the same page, and the old heads are just as comforting as the the young ones and stuff like that. So I think everyone's been very welcoming to everyone.
No, that's cool. And then in terms of like a build up to a game preparation in the week, how does that look like for you? Like what are the kind of things that you're obviously training, but what does the build up to a game on a Saturday look like?
Yeah, I guess I've played around with it a lot because the games are at 7:00 at night time now, and going through school and club rugby, I'm used to them being at 12:02. So a lot of it's just trying to find ways to not play the game in your head too early, and a lot of it's focused on being present and doing meditation practices, and I guess just chilling out, listening to music, or finding a good podcast to listen to, and just chill out by the beach for a while. I love going down to the beach in Wellington and just sitting there taking in the view and I guess having some fresh air. But as soon as it kind of gets to the point where you have to go to the ground, it's focused. You're locked in. You got your music on, and I guess from then on, it's just whatever you feel. You don't really try to think.
No, that's cool. I think let's go to the Q&A. Just because I know it's maybe getting a little bit late there. Time, I'm conscious of your time. Spates, or I don't know how to say this. Tui.
Spates or Tui? I'd have to go Tui.
I assume that's beer. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
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 Thoughts on ever coming to SA for a stint, since we were playing up north now?
Oh, if I wasn't wanted in New Zealand, and I was wanted there, that'd definitely be an option, 100%.
And then the ideal union?
Oh, I was playing a lot of rugby 08 at the New Zealand 20s camp, and I was playing as the Stormers and the Bulls quite a lot because they were stacked. So maybe the Stormers or the Bulls, yeah.
Yeah, you got to come to the Stormers. Up north is shit anyway, so it's like... if you okay, well, that was the next question anyway. How did you cope with the pressure of performing as a young talent in the Tasman comp?
I guess just trying to have fun. If an opportunity's there to have a crack. If it's not, pass the ball. But it's just the same game you play when you're 5 years old, so nothing changes from that.
Yeah, cool. And who is your favourite player for the All Blacks and the Springboks?
The biggest player I looked up to is probably Artie Sauer at the moment, just because of how great of a guy he is, and he's got no duplicity on and off the field. He's the same man you see on TV as he is a person and at home. So he's the greatest man. And the Springboks, I guess one person I'd love to meet and talk to is probably Andre Pollard. Just pick his brain a little bit. I think he's a great player. And Willie LaRue probably as well. He's someone I've watched since I was...
Yeah, that's awesome. Ruben, thanks so much, bro. I really appreciate your time. I genuinely do. It means a lot to me for you coming on. And just thanks for chatting and being open and sharing. It was quite an interesting chat. So I really digged it. So thanks so much.
No, sweet. Thanks for having me, man. It's awesome.
Sweet,
Appreciate it.